It's not glamorous. And I think the one thing that I would tell any entrepreneur is it's not easy. And there's a lot that goes on below the surface of the iceberg that you don't typically see because it is hard and it is unsexy. And you're pouring yourself into something that it's so much invisible work goes into it. Right?
Jenny Hetro is a fact finder, strategist, graphic designer, project manager, and entrepreneur. Before starting her marketing consulting business in 2019, she held leadership roles at Northeastern Pennsylvania-based for-profits and nonprofits, learning the ins and outs of B2B marketing, collaboration, and creative problem solving, along the most incredible teammates and knowledgeable mentors. Today, her two-person consultancy helps clients look their best through high quality. She's a mom of 2 kiddos and has a soft spot in her heart for rescue dogs. Thank you for joining us, Jenny.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So I'm excited for you, and I'll start by saying I'm excited because your crew, Bob, came into our office just a day or so ago and crushed it. I have always wanted nice professional photography pictures. Now that we've grown as a company and we've piecemealed it, and because the growth has been rapid, and we're like, all right, we're going to do it the right way. And when Bob worked with Maria and I was like, this guy is great. And so got introed to you, and we just had not only did he do, I think, a great job, but everybody enjoyed. Most people hate it. All tensed up, and I was like, and then I was like, I kept saying, "You're gonna like this." If it's Bob, I'm like, I know him, and he just has a way of. Here's a great example. As he's taking my photo yesterday, right, he's got me doing, I don't know, there's probably a word, a progressive from a serious face to a really big wide smile.
Yeah, because usually you crack up towards the end because you can only do it for so long.
And he's doing it with me. He's like this, and he's moving the camera around, and I'm like, that. It's usually us trying to go, I don't know, what do we do?
Yeah, how do you pose?
Yes.
Bringing that creativity was great, and I thanked you the next day in an email, and then you responded right away. To me, I'm like, that's how small business should work.
Yeah. And like I said, small business can be fun when you work with really great people. And I think that's what keeps me energized and not wanting to run for the hills, because I work a lot through word of mouth and referrals. So I always joke that it buffers me from being exposed to the potential of crazy, because I've had a lot of crazy in my life. And I did that. I did it. It's a chapter in my book, and I dealt with a lot and navigated a lot of challenging situations and came out on top. And now I just want to work with and party with people who are just kind and honest and say please and thank you.
Yeah.
My very first client, when I went on my own, called me during COVID, and he was like, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And he was like, hold up, Jen. How are you? And I literally started crying. Those are the kind of people who I want to work with and work for.
Yeah.
He didn't care what I was ahead of, on, or behind on. He was like, he knew I had 2 kids at home and trying to keep it together like everybody else. And he just wanted to take a pause and say, you okay? Because a lot of people aren't okay.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so telling of I knew I was where I was supposed to be, though. I was like, this is scary to do my own thing. But
was that right when you started your own business?
Yeah. So I started officially in the summer of 2019. I just filed paperwork with the state as Jennifer Lee Hetro LLC, because I thought I could eventually get a DBA and figure out what to do and get some quirky, cool, punchy marketing name that made me sound bigger than I was. But then I started to get busy again, just through word of mouth and different things. And I signed on 2 clients that I was going to start with in December of 2019. And one was going to start in January of 2020. And it just started, and I was happy and I was calm and I was learning the ropes of running a business. A lot of help from you. Thank you for that.
So what were you doing before you started the company?
Oh, boy. I had different roles, corporate roles in nonprofits and for-profits, always in marketing, always in graphic design or something creative. Okay. But I had a lot of cool experience with an e-commerce startup. I know sometimes we joke, if you see it on the internet, you think it's real. I learned at 25 years old that the internet is just made by a bunch of 25-year-old mutants, just like I was at the time. And
wait, what?
It was like, oh my gosh. I can remember the story where we had a bunch of orders come in for a very specific product, a lot at once. And our buyer was like, this is really strange. And then she looked at it and she's like, they're all from the same zip code in New York. And this was back in 2007. Turns out there was a pricing error on the website where they had put a single product price, but they had listed a case. So something went on this blog where all these mothers in this radius were buying all of this product because they were getting 20 items instead of one. And it was this thing that always stuck with me. We did that, though. We were the people making the internet. And in that moment, the product that they bought, that was the truth in that moment. And we had to honor that and ship out all those products. But it was just this illustrative example of regular people doing their job. And it's on the internet, and you just assume that it's all valid and true. And this was before fake news and internet skepticism and all that good stuff that we have today. But wild. My friend who sat at the cubicle next to me was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah, right. It would be better if he just mistyped something instead of an actual number of,
But anyway, it just illustrates these moments in my life where I'm like, we're all just trying our best, and we're going to make mistakes. And sometimes they're big and sometimes they're small. And I make a lot of mistakes. And I'm scared all the time. But I went through this career path of working in professional services. I worked for an architecture and engineering company, which is where I met my amazing husband, Chris Hetro.
Nice.
And and then I went to a different for-profit that sold architectural building materials. It was Cornell in Mountaintop, and they sold rolling steel doors and grills. And that was awesome. Learned a lot, traveled a lot. And then I went to a nonprofit, a healthcare company in Scranton, which if you live in Luzerne County, people thought I was crazy. They're going to drive all the way to Scranton every day. I was like, I'm going to do it. But a friend of mine worked there, and she was like, we've been interviewing for this position for months, and we can't find anybody, and I know it's you. And I was like, I don't think it's me because I'm finally happy. And she was like, no, I think it's you. Will you just come talk to them? And I did. And I took a great job with a great title, and it was a tremendous pay increase for me, and I got the chance to build a team. When I started, it was just me. When I left, we had a team of 5.
Nice.
It was awesome. Cool. It was awesome. We learned a lot. It was my first foray into the nonprofit sector and into healthcare in general, and I learned a lot. It was awesome. It was just such an incredible learning experience, but I was obsessed with the mission. I became a little bit borderline addicted to the job. And then I got in a car accident and almost died, but I didn't.
Holy.
So then I thought,
terrifying.
This needs to change. So then I changed. So I made a plan. And had help of Maria and other friends and mentors who were like, think you'll be all right. Just try to do your own thing and it will all be fine. And that was that. And my husband was like, at first, this is bananas. And then he was like, but you're too stubborn to fail. So I guess just give it a try. So and here I am. So almost 6 years later, running my own business with my teammate, Bob, who is an amazing person and really compliments, like he is the calm to my chaos. And where I am not strong, he is exceptional. And same thing where he doesn't want to do certain things. I love to do those things. So together we just help really good clients do fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So back up a second. That was a lot.
I know.
What? The car accident.
The car accident.
Yeah. Can you
I can talk about it now.
Okay.
I can talk about it now.
Don't go into big detail. I pass out at blood. So don't.
No, I was actually, it's so wild because I was picking up my best friend from the airport. And she had flown in from Charlotte because her father was really sick and he was in the hospital in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to pick you up. We're going to get some lunch. We're going to go to Philly. Sounds like that's a pretty simple plan. So we got in the car and we were trying to turn to get onto the turnpike off of one of the big curves on 81. And on the other side of the median, a truck was coming towards us and we were going this way and they were coming towards us and they did not slow down to take the curve. And the tractor trailer tipped and I saw it tipping and we were literally driving towards them on the other side of the median and I saw it tip and it released 40,000 pounds of metal pipes that some of them crossed the median and hit my car and it was wild and my kids' car seats were in the back seat. So after it's all said, my friend and I were sitting in this car together and we're holding hands on the console, right? I'm like, are you okay? She's like, I think so. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, I think so. And then we're like, but I think this is really bad.
Yeah.
So we got out of the car and the car was decimated from literally behind my seat was a complete mess. Just wacky. There were people from the PennDOT salt shed that ran down and they're like, are you okay? We heard a tremendous boom. I didn't hear a thing. My friend Sarah didn't hear a thing. Fast. Yeah. But I'm stubborn and can compartmentalize when I need to. So I called my husband. I was like, something really bad happened, but you need to come here because I need your car. And he
Oh, you
was
still
like,
want to make the trip?
we had to make the trip.
Oh, geez.
We had to make the trip because her dad was really sick. We had to go. So looking back, if I did not have to make the trip, I probably would have been one of those people that's like, I'm not driving anymore. But we had to go. We didn't have an option. I mean, I guess you always have an option, but in the moment, I wasn't going to not go. So he drove there and his mom had to drive there because, of course, he needed a ride to get back to work. And I took his car and we left. We just left. I was like, we have to go now. We just left.
Wow. And your car is still there.
Yeah, it was just a
horrible
big,
shape.
big
Yeah.
mess. And I was like, we're leaving now. And he was like, okay, just leave now. And we got in the car and we left. And listen to this. So wild. My friend and I, we stayed there for the weekend. I drove home by myself on Sunday. And on Sunday afternoon, she called me as I was pulling into my driveway and said, you're never going to believe this, but my dad is getting a liver today.
Aww.
Oh, wow.
So how about that?
Wow.
A weekend
that
of
might make me
chaos.
cry. That was actually
I
A
know.
weekend of
expecting that.
chaos and all kinds of emotional overload.
Yeah.
And he recently passed away, but he had 5 bonus years.
Nice.
5 bonus years after that wild weekend.
Wow. So you were in that role, and were you thinking about, should I start my own business?
No.
How did that come about?
No, I didn't. This was not the plan at all. I had a plan.
She had
and
a plan.
I had a big plan. And my plan was, do you remember I told you that my friend who worked where I used to work was like, you will make more money and have a better title and learn a lot of things. And I was like, great. So when I tell you the pay increase from where I was previously to where I went was big, it was life-changing money.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm a pretty stubborn person, as my husband would tell you too. I can do anything for a short period of time. If I know what's the end goal, I can do it. I can run 10
Okay.
miles if I know it's over. I can do things if I know it's going to be over. If you can wrap your head around it,
Sure.
you can make a plan, work backwards. So my plan was to work really hard and make as much money as I could and do really great work until I was 40. And it was just this magic number that I made up in my mind. Because when I ran the math with my husband, I was like, I can just stop running this race when I'm 40. And he was like, you probably could. Okay. And that was the plan.
Gotcha.
So when I got in this car accident and it completely jumbled everything in my world, and I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. Maybe this is the world shaking me literally to say, stop it.
That drive to Lackawanna County every day, reminding you of that accident after that. I
Yeah.
remember you saying that I can't stand the drive.
I
It's
can't.
killing me. Just that drive alone. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tried all the things. I would listen to podcasts and
Mhm.
laugh. I tried all the things to trick my brain into, it's going to be fine. But I was like, I think I'm an idiot if I don't listen to what the world is trying to tell me.
So how far away from 40 were you?
Oh, I was 36, I think. 36 or 37. Because it was either right before or right after Aubrey turned 1. And I think that shook me up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
It was a lot at once.
Yeah, so you had 2 little babies.
2 little babies, a lot of stress. I was drinking every night because everybody tells you it's okay if you're stressed out, even though it's maybe not.
Oh, yeah. The whole wine o'clock
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Mommy needs a wine.
Yeah.
I just got to thinking, like, what am I doing? And I have a choice. I have a good relationship. I have a safe home. If I quit my job tomorrow, I'm not going to force my family to eat ramen noodles. It wasn't like we were in a spot where it was dire that I had to go to this job and drive to Scranton. I don't know. I just started to think about it. And Maria talks a lot about when your brain looks for signs and you can notice things in the world. And I just started to be more open to that. What could I do? Because I didn't grow up with people who ran businesses and I didn't have family members who had a business. And I really thought that you needed to have a storefront and have a widget to sell to have a business. It didn't make sense to me. It just wasn't something that I was super familiar with. But I will say, from my time when Maria worked for me and I was Maria's client, I was like, she really helped me a lot. Maybe I could help people in that same way because I had a very different perspective, a very different skill set that I felt like didn't see a lot of people doing in our area. And I thought maybe I could just do that because I've done crazier things than just
Yeah.
decide to do a thing that I was already good at.
Ah.
And it was really well networked. I know a lot of people in Luzerne, Lackawanna County, and people like to do business with people they know. A lot of my friends were progressing in their careers, so they were in different positions of decision-making and influence within their respective companies. So they would call me and say, hey, can you help us with this specific thing?
Yep.
Because at that point, they were making those choices and deciding what vendors to choose. And they knew me and they trusted me and they knew I wouldn't let them down. So
Yeah.
it just grew. And then I got too busy and I met Bob Sanchuk for dinner. And he was going through a tumultuous life change. And I was like, you look really bad. Are you okay? Which we joke about now was so inappropriate to say to a friend over dinner. I was like, you look really beat up.
That's exactly what a friend should say at dinner.
Yeah. Only friends can say that at dinner.
That's right. That's why you're a close friend.
Yeah. And he was like, no, things aren't great. And I was like, I'm not really great either. I'm like too busy and I'm drowning. And will you come work with me again? And he was like, please don't mess with me because I will say yes.
Aw.
So here we are. But yeah, it's been a cool journey. And my common thread with all the things is it's people. It's working with people who light your fire. It's working with people who push you harder. It's working with people who respect me, who are kind. You know, I think building my own company has been really cool because I look at Bob and he is my friend and he is my teammate. But I've been able to build this business where I can take time off. I can come here on a whim and do a podcast. I can. Yeah. He worked on a project for me recently. It was so hard and he really came through. And I was like, please take off some other day in May because just take a day off. And he was like, I'm so busy. I'm like, take the day off.
Yeah.
But it's cool to be able to do that stuff with people. That's because that's what he values. And we've had the conversation 100 times. What do you want? Is it money? Is it flexibility? Is it time? And he just keeps saying he wants time. So I just keep forcing him to take days off.
I think that's the biggest compensation you could give.
Yeah. Invaluable.
So you're a cosmetologist for a business, right? I think our careers are a little bit similar in that my job can't really start until I fully understand what my client wants. Tell me what makes you successful. Tell me what you want people to really see when they see you and how to perceive it, whether it's a product, a service, or the company in general, branding, etc.
Yeah.
Is that
that's true.
A simple
That's totally
description,
true.
a cosmetologist
totally
for a business?
true.
So what
you
are
can
you
use
selling?
that if you want to use that in your promo. I'm just kidding.
She's not putting lipstick on.
This is the reason I don't do marketing.
No. So what do you do?
Oh my gosh. We help brands and businesses and people better tell their story and really figure out what makes them unique because everybody's doing similar things. Yep. Even Maria and I, we joke all the time. We on paper do the same thing.
On paper, we're fierce competition.
Fiercely.
Fierce.
In real life,
we share everything.
We do.
But you guys, so that's
from
a great...
from contracts
okay.
to how to bill.
Yeah.
To all the things.
To how to challenge, how to navigate a challenging client situation.
Yeah. We have conversations with each other that don't make sense in the real world. We weren't told was okay to share with people. But we share them because we feel like there's more than enough to go around.
There is.
Yeah. And there is. We work together. We have separate clients. We share ideas. Yeah. It's amazing.
You'll never hear people today, in today's world at least, say, oh, it's so easy to find somebody to go do this or that for me. What you hear is it's really hard to find a good person at whatever this is.
Yeah.
And so if you are really good at this, which you both are, and I can speak from personal experience with both of you now, it's interesting how you go from being competition to becoming peers, lean on each other, right? I do this in our industry. I'll have guys that be like, oh, I was talking to so-and-so. Isn't he a competitor of yours? I'm like, yeah, we're buddies though. I really enjoy talking to him or her. And how can that be? I'm like, you can learn a lot from other people and share ideas. And there's just so many people. Yeah, there's just a lot of business for good people.
There is a lot of business for good people. Yeah. Right.
And it just feeds itself.
Yeah. And I think Maria has absolutely pushed me to try different things. And when I was on the fence of, can I really do this? We met for a drink at State Street Grill. She was like, I will help you however I can. And to have somebody who would have been a competitor on paper, and we weren't as close at the time.
No, we weren't. Because she hired me as a contractor. So she was a marketing director, and we were the design agency.
Yep.
And so it was very much a client-vendor relationship. But then we just had so much in common. Like our kids were similar ages, and
she was easy to talk to. She would pick up the phone. It wasn't like this stop, go, push, pull where I was like, hey, can you really help me with something? And she was like, I can in 6 weeks. It was very non-rigid. I felt like she heard me and was open to different things. Sometimes I'd say, I think we really need this. And she'd be like, you probably do, but you probably also need this. And I'd be like, you're right. So I felt like I didn't have a peer inside who could have that design lens. Yep. Until you fed me Bob.
Until I fed you Bob.
Poor Bob. You should be here representing yourself in this conversation.
I need a head.
Yeah, you should just pop up from behind.
Let's make this guy Bob.
Yeah, but I did feel though that you really cared for me as a client, and I felt like you wanted to be that partner that helped me succeed. And I really valued that. I really appreciated that. And our relationship even further back than that started when I made a big mistake at work. And I called a friend of mine and I said, here's what happened. What would you do? And he goes, I'm going to give you a phone number. And I would call this girl and talk to her and just tell her exactly what you told me. And she'll probably help you. And I trusted him. And I did that thing. And she didn't know me from anybody in the world. And she heard me out and said, yeah, I can help you. And I said, okay, that sounds great. But now that I know a little bit about you and that you're willing to help a stranger out of a bind, can you come in? I would love to meet you and see what you can offer. And then when she came in to present to us, it was my teammate and I. We met with Maria. We saw what she did. And we walked her out. And then my friend Carrie and I, my teammate, walked back to our offices because we shared an office. We were holding hands in the hallway. And we both were like, what can we do to get her to work with us? And we were conspiring. We didn't have a budget. We didn't have any boundaries or anything to say we couldn't. So we just made a case and said, can this woman just design this one thing? And then she did. And everyone was like, this is great. And I was like, I know. Because like I am an okay designer, but she's a great designer. And then you've been with that same company. You're still working there for them, right?
When was that? You were still in the
but that's like
downtown office.
2015 or 2016.
Bananas. Yeah, that's how far back we go.
Story surprises me.
Yeah.
But I made a mistake. A stranger helped me out of a bind.
Yep.
And then it came back to you in a way that was good for your business and good for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's very boomerangy.
But you've supported me from that day too, because you asked for the favor, but then you also said, when I get all this taken care of, I want to take you for coffee and I want to learn more about what you do. Right now, I don't have time right now. And I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. It was just one of those weird things where you just,
I feel like Dr. Phil here. Like, I just
let
you guys.
It's the sisterhood. And I will say, even we talk about, we share a lot of things. A lot of my very close friends are also professional women. We talk about everything from struggles and challenges and work conflict to pay and salary and how to help each other negotiate. And a good friend of mine is thinking about starting a business and she's like, you just won't stop pushing me. And I was like, because I know you have what it takes. Yeah. And I know you can't see it yet, but you got it. I can see it.
So tell me what it is.
I think it's somebody who has the drive, somebody who has a skill or a talent, who they're passionate about it or really good at it, and somebody who's wants to do that thing, in a drama-free way. And I think also she could really benefit from the freedom that doing her own thing can allow. This whole thing with kids, man, wrapped my whole world around. Yeah, like just the school schedules, and they get on the bus at 8:15 and then they're off the bus at 4:15. I don't work a 40-hour work week unless I'm working Saturdays or Sundays. Or unless if it's my husband's day to get them off the bus and I'm still in the basement till 5 or 6 o'clock. It's a shuffle. It's not glamorous. And I think the one thing that I would tell any entrepreneur is it's not easy. And there's a lot that goes on below the surface of the iceberg that you don't typically see because it is hard and it is unsexy and it's like you're pouring yourself into something that it's so much invisible work into it, right? And so much sacrifice that people won't see. They'll be like, oh my God, you're running your own business. That must be so fun. And it is. But flexibility is not the same as availability, right? Yeah. So sometimes I have to switch things around to make it work. And sometimes it's easier than other times. Yeah. So I think that is something that I worry about with my kids and with our younger generation. I think they see a lot of that surface level stuff, whether it be on TikTok or YouTube or things about, my son, he's 8. He told me he's either going to play for the Phillies or he's going to be a YouTuber.
Oh.
And I said,
cool.
Oh. I said, and what if that doesn't work out? And then he told me, if it doesn't work out, though, he's got an even better idea. He's just going to be the coach for the Phillies. I said, "Oh, you're just gonna be the coach.
Yeah,
you're just gonna go do that.
Way to dream big." Well, he sees mom and dad doing really awesome things with a smile.
I think they do. I think it's good. I saw my parents working really hard. I was growing up, and I do think there's something to that. I do get unsettled sometimes when my kids say things like, "I'm mommy. I'm always on the computer." That's a little unsettling.
Yeah.
I will tell you, my son, when he was little, he refused to drink his milk out of a sippy cup and told me that he wanted a glass like mommy, a wine glass. And that was the day I decided to stop drinking.
Interesting.
Because I think sometimes they say things and it's like a gut punch and you think they're watching. They're watching. And I could say all the
They
things.
really are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But does it matter what I say if I don't do the things?
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
I never thought of putting milk into a wine glass.
Maybe he's a creative at heart. He thinks he's going to be a baseball player, but
there are coaches on the team whose parents are probably going, "There's my kid.
Yeah.
Coach, he's doing what he said he was doing."
There's
right?
somebody's kid. Yeah.
I always like that analogy. If that's what it is, like when people talk about all babies are basically, we're all born the same, and it's just our environment that kind of starts to put the restriction on us, or doesn't. So I think
Nature
that's
versus
interesting.
nurture.
There you go. I knew there'd be
Yes.
some official term for it.
my daughter was doing cartwheels earlier this week in the grocery store, and I didn't stop her
No.
because
Like literally doing cartwheels.
literally doing cartwheels.
Gotcha.
And I thought, you know what? The world is going to beat this out of her at some point. So
Yeah.
why do I want to do it now? Nobody knows how to be a good parent,
I'm
right?
sure no one was in the aisle.
Oh, no. People were there. One of the people was laughing, and I was like,
Yeah, it probably
Yeah.
makes everybody feel good.
Yeah. Major life and business changes can really shake things up for worse, and sometimes, I believe, for the better. As a certified neuro coach, I know that when we are in an area of transformation in our lives that we did not choose, or maybe we did, we're bumped up against our comfort zone. And when that happens, our subconscious mind gets louder and tries to pull us back to where we feel safe. But I know, as a certified neuro coach, that this is the perfect time to take this transformation and turn it into something that you desire, something that you want. This is the perfect time to rewire those old limiting beliefs that have gotten in your way, and let's break free from that in this time of transformation and make it work for you. Let's turn this into a magical moment. I would love to hear from you. You can book a call on my website at mariaconaglero.com. Let's make this transformation last.
So what part of the business do you work on now? Like you as an individual?
me as an individual, I do a lot of the behind the scenes, not fun things, the accounting and the project management and the scheduling and trying to make sure that we don't overextend ourselves. Because like we talked about earlier, time is really important to Bob and to me. And we don't have an infinite amount of time, right?
Correct.
He's got 2 kids too. So he has different commitments and his day's a little bit more broken up than mine. So I have to be super careful that my tendency to say yes, just like today, and chase the shiny objects that are exciting and fun.
We're so glad you
shiny.
did.
They're so shiny. I have to make sure that I don't overextend us too much, because the problem is then I will be working nights and weekends and 4 o'clock in the mornings and all that stuff to catch up, because if I said I would do the thing, I will do the thing.
She will do
Yeah.
the thing.
And that has been something that I think you've been really helpful in coaching out of me, that if you say you're going to do a thing, but then if somebody gently changes the rules and I don't actively say no, but I don't really say yes, just have this tendency to go with it and deal with it. But Maria told me that when we were having one of those heart-to-hearts of why am I failing? Why is this happening? She was like, but Jenny, if somebody changed the rules,
Of the game. You
Yeah.
could play the game differently.
you get to play differently too. And it changed my whole perspective, because
Yeah.
then it was like, oh, I'm not doing what I told them I would do, because I never told them I would do the thing. They just kept changing the rules, right?
Keep adding on and
Yeah,
stuff.
because
Yeah.
she was locked into this is what I said I would do. And I have to see it all the way through. No
Like-
matter what it took. You
Yes.
would go through hell or high water.
For an example, somebody might say, I really need just a simple website. I'd be like, okay, that sounds great. And I would scope it out. I'd say, it's going to be a page website. It's going to do this and this. And then they'd be like, oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you. I really want to sell a digital download on this website. And I'd be like, that's a great idea. And I guess I'll just do it.
Throw this PDF together for you so it's cohesive.
Yeah, and I'll just make the checkout page.
Yeah.
And I guess I just have to at this point make the
Thank you
remind
page.
the thank you email and the thank you page, and then I'll just send you the graphic that you can put in your own email. It was this whole thing that, because my tendency, I really should have been a teacher or a nurse, to be honest, but I really want to help people.
Yeah.
You're brilliant.
You went over
This
there.
is the thing. She sees things that most people don't. She can see 10, 15, 20 steps ahead, how it all interconnects and what needs to happen to make it all work to the best it possibly can. People think 1 or 2 steps ahead and think, oh, this is great. But Jenny's, but what if you did this? But not only does she come up with the idea, she knows she has everything it takes to get it from here to there.
Okay.
Or I know the right person who can do it.
Yes.
We talk about being well networked.
Yes.
There are things that I am not good at that you are great at. And we work together. My friend Kelsey and I, she does websites and she's brilliant and she's kind and she's smart.
She is.
And
all those things.
And we partnered on a big website audit project because I told my client, I was like, I'm not your best girl. I'm not going to do this justice. What I can do is bring in a powerhouse player. So I'll guide her, but she'll give me all the technical stuff that we need to know. And they were so happy. And it was opening myself up to accept that I don't have to do all the things and people don't care. They just want somebody who's looking out for them. And I wouldn't really be looking out for them if I told them I could do a thing that I knew somebody in my network could do a whole lot better. Is that mind-blowing?
No, it's
just
great.
shuffling away the work because it's going to be better.
I've said this before in these interviews. Is I'm surrounded by people who, I hate saying it out loud, but it's the truth. I've done everything in here, but now I'm surrounded by people who are doing those things now better than I used to do them.
But isn't that fun?
And we're stronger for it.
Doesn't that make you feel good though?
Yeah.
Like you
it's
think it'd make you be like,
fantastic.
oh my God, was I terrible? And they're so great. But it's the opposite, right?
Yeah, it is. It 100%. And it makes me question where I do have my strengths, but I think I would say it's in collaboration and bringing that
it's in, like,
together, being a helping leadership and
lifting
visionary
people.
and stuff like that. But let me ask you a question. When you were working in the previous role, you had that age 40 target date, right? Yeah. But now you're in completely different world.
And above 42.
That's up to you. That's up to you.
Recently above 42.
But we're do you still think about a target date or are you I'm just keep going? What's in your mindset now?
I say all the time, I'm going to slow down. And then my husband laughs at me, like lovingly, but seriously, he just laughs at me. He goes, oh, that sounds good. Because I just love what I do. And I think I've just found this joy in working, which is weird because I think my whole life I was sung this song of, if you want to make a lot of money, you got to work really hard. And that has been an old thing that I've really had to work on. Maybe you can just share your gifts with the world and people want to pay you for them because they can't do them. I want to pay people to do the things. I want to pay somebody to build my retaining wall because I don't know how to do that. I want to pay somebody to do the things that I'm not good at because they will do them instead of me following a tutorial on the YouTube. So I think that I want to work in a space where I feel manageable and not so busy, but I don't foresee myself shutting it down anytime soon. And especially because now Bob works with me and it's a tremendous pressure to know that somebody's paycheck on you driving the bus and going in the right direction and making the right choices. And I adore him and I respect him and I'm honestly really grateful. And I think about it a lot. He took a leap too to be like, yeah, I'm going to go work with you. Not really knowing. He didn't know anything about my business, my financials, the goals. He was like, I just trust you and it's going to be fine. Yeah. That's incredible. But those are the people that I surround myself with, people who say that to me and people who I say that to. I trust you. Yeah. If you tell me, and that the real crux of the issue is my husband, Chris Hetro, because when Chris Hetro tells me a thing, you think I am reliable. This man will see it through. He is the king of reliability. And I joke about it with him all the time. I'm always regular, normal, all these things, these terrible, boring words. But God, there is a beauty in that.
Yes.
Safety and just
predictability.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just laughing because my wife, when my wife talks about when we met, and I'm like, what was it that attracted you to me? Is it my muscles or whatever? Or I used to have hair. And she's like, stability. I always tell people, he's got such a stable family. And I'm like, that's it. I worked my tail off for all this other stuff. And it's the stability.
It's the
that's
most
the most boring thing.
boring.
I'll take it. It worked out well.
Yeah, there is such a freedom in that. If you can find somebody who brings you that stability, then I can just do whatever I want. Because when I don't think I make flippant choices financially, one of the things that Marie and I have talked about in the past is I think I was able to start my own business and do my own thing because of the deliberate choices that we made, right? When Chris had bought the house that we live in now and before we were together, and when I moved in there, he refinanced it to a 15-year mortgage, and that was a goal of ours. The goal of ours was to pay off this house in 15 years because nobody talks about that, right? You're supposed to get a 30-year mortgage and deal with it, but then the mortgage rates were like 3%. It was wacky. Nice, yeah. It was really wild, and I think our payment went up $60 a month or something. So it was really manageable. And we thought, what a cool goal to be on our path to being more financially free. And we did. And we put everything behind it. There was a year that I didn't buy clothes for a year. I can do things in chunks.
Okay.
I can't say I won't ever do a thing again because my brain will explode. But I can do a thing I can gamify things. Like I gave up extra sugar for Lent. I was like, I could do anything for 4 weeks, right? When I quit drinking accidentally, I thought I'm going to take a break and dry out for 3 weeks. I was like, I could do anything for 3 weeks. And then it came 3 months and then it became a year. So sometimes these habits catch, sometimes they don't. I still am a little bit of a sugar girl, but sometimes I go backwards. But I think that
sugar,
okay.
it's so bad. I love it
it's
so much.
really bad. But but
we've shared many desserts.
we always share desserts.
We always share desserts.
Listen, if you're going to have a meal and put it on your business credit card, you're buying a dessert.
We're having dessert.
You're having a dessert.
Maybe two.
It doesn't count if you share it, though.
Yeah.
No, but I think our goals together have been really aligned. And you talk about being stable and reliable and boring, but I grew up in a family where my dad would carry cash. He never had a credit card. It was very much like if you don't have the money to buy it, you just don't get it.
Right.
Or you find a way to save for it.
What a radical concept.
What a radical. And even when I was preparing after that summer with that car accident, I had 6 months and I kept saying to myself, I will not do this in 2020. That was my date. People say if you have a goal, set a date. So I did. I said, I will not do this anymore in 2020. And it gave me a 6 months window to say, okay, what do I need to do to work backwards though? Because if I don't get clients and if I don't have a plan, what do I need to do? And I really worked backwards and I saved a lot. In those 6 months, I basically said to my husband, let's just live on your salary. And we did. And we just banked mine and I didn't go to lunch and I didn't do all the fun things that I really wanted to do. But I had a bigger goal.
Is Chris, your husband's Chris, right?
Yes.
Is he an engineer?
Yes!
Yeah. Because this is multiple references you've made to
Yes.
basically what's reverse engineering, which is really what financial planning
yes.
is. So financial planning is just what do you want to do at what age in the future?
Yeah.
And then you just put in some variables and you say, assuming this and this, here's what your input has to be.
So we had a
And so you do
spreadsheet.
that. So
We had a
makes total
spreadsheet,
sense.
Bob.
Of
So
course
you're
you
right.
do. All engineers have spreadsheets.
We had a
That's what-
spreadsheet and it was like, if you save this, then we will. You're right.
Yeah.
He reverse engineered my goal. And I
Yeah.
didn't even know it was happening.
Oh,
All
it's
I heard was, you can
Right.
do this. You can quit. That's all I heard.
That's so cute that you think you're in control here. no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but
that's
you're
a
right.
great example. Two different minds that
Yeah.
work really well together.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier.
And we're
Good for
really
you.
different.
I have
But
to meet this guy. Sounds like a superhero.
he is something. He is just cool
They're
as
very
a
cute
cucumber.
together.
He's cool as a cucumber and just, he's a problem solver. I guess that's what they teach you in engineering school, though. Just solving problems.
Yeah, I didn't go to engineering school,
Yeah.
but I work with a lot of engineers with our business. Yeah.
But the world needs, I say there is a lid for every pot. That's the best way to just describe that.
You love solving problems, and
I
you
do.
find very creative ways to do it.
I do. Because there's a lot of problems in the world, and
So I
it's
heard.
really easy to complain about them, right?
Yeah.
But I think I'm just naturally curious, though, to figure out the why first. I always want to know, why is this happening?
Yeah.
You can't really solve it until
That's
you're
an
like,
engineer.
oh my
I
God,
hate to
maybe I
tell
should have
you.
been an
You're an
engineer.
engineer.
At least the first part of that's an engineer.
But there's something about every time, and we've solved problems before, every time there's a problem, it's 90% of the time, it's not what you think the problem is, right? It's something different. It's not like, I'm so busy at work. That's not the problem.
No.
The problem is conflicting priorities, serving too many masters, and getting distracted by shiny objects. Bad time management. That's the problem. It's not like I'm so busy.
Yeah.
And even I had some personal conflicts recently where I quit a board that I was really passionate about at a previous point in my life. And the problem wasn't that I didn't have time for the board. The problem was that I was no longer interested in what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me to untangle my mind. I kept getting frustrated with the meetings and this. And I was like, I would get an email and be like, oh, I would have this reaction. But I really thought about it. And it wasn't that I don't have time, because I have lots of time to do the things that I want to do.
Well, spend your time on that end.
Yeah, I want to volunteer in the classroom. I want to pick my kids up from school on Friday and wait in the parent carpool line one day a week because they think it's fun, even though I don't like it at all. But there are things that I want to do that take time. And I think it was hard, it sounds so silly now talking it out, but it was hard for me to admit that maybe I just didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't have an excuse. An excuse was that I don't have time, but that was not the right excuse. I wasn't being honest.
It was just out of alignment.
Yep.
It was out of alignment. And that's what happened with the job that I had before I went on my own. I got shook out of alignment, and it was right. It was not right anymore. And I realized that work wasn't the only part of the problem. I was addicted to the mission of that job. I was addicted to the mission. I was addicted to talking to people. There was one time where I met with a mother who was in recovery, a new mom. She just had a baby. And I sat with her in the lactation space at that office, and I showed her how to relatch her baby. And she was so happy and she was so grateful. And I cried all the way home. And I was like, this is why my work matters. It was just being in the right space. Even though I was a marketing director, it was being in that space where they're like, oh, Jenny, you know all about this. Can you help her? It was just these, and I would have these moments all the time with people. They'd be like, oh, I'm so glad we heard about this office because we haven't been able to get dental care in 2 years for our kid. There were these things that people would say, and I'd be like, oh, we're in the right spot. And so many people, and we were able to help people through marketing, which sounds silly almost, but I wasn't in there laying my hands on somebody and doing direct patient care, but by marketing more effectively, people knew that they could come to that location and feel better and be respected. And that was awesome. Some things, when things are awesome, you want to do it more and get bigger and bigger, and it was consuming me.
So out of curiosity, maybe it's a question for both of you. Have you ever done marketing for something you didn't really believe in? Product or service? Don't say Stonehenge.
I'm trying to think. I really don't
I've
think
never
so.
had anything that I was legitimately out of alignment with.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say I've had things that, although the product or the service didn't light me up, the people did.
Okay.
And I thought there's always a way to find out, why in the world does this matter?
I've had clients where the product or service did light me up and the
Mhm.
people didn't.
Oh.
And I had to let them go because of that.
Yeah, that's
So you're
That's a lot.
That makes
That,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think in our space, we can make those choices because when you are creative and you're not selling a widget and what you're creating has to come from a space inside of you, and it's not just inputting numbers, and like it comes from us and our creative energy. If that gets depleted, we have nothing to sell. We're no good anymore. Our business model is completely broken.
we're just like AI.
Yeah,
You might as well just ask
You might as
ChatGPT.
well. Yes, exactly.
Just
we
ask
become,
ChatGPT.
we become like machines. But really, we have to hold that sacred.
But I think you talk about noticing things. I think if you are, sometimes I've had instances where I'm a little bit bored with a project or with a job, and I have to find a way to make it more interesting. And I can, because you always can.
You always can.
You always can, whether it's asking an extra follow-up question or putting together a sales deck, but saying, hey, why don't we have any client testimonials? Or, hey, can you explain this to me differently? Or there's always a way to make it more interesting. And there's a big push for humanizing boring things right now.
Yeah.
And I think there's a huge push right now for authenticity.
Yeah.
Huge.
You could fill your website with a bunch of stock photos that are probably really beautiful, but I joked earlier that the internet is just made of a bunch of people just like us making websites, putting whatever we want in the world. I could make a website tomorrow and say that I can do financial services, and it would probably look great, and I could fill it with stock photos and all kinds of stuff, but it's not real. And I think people are keen to that.
Yeah.
Have you ever ordered something from a website and then you get the sales email and you're like, oh, it's going to be shipping to you and you'll get it in 6 weeks from China?
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I literally just bought this from Etsy.
Yeah.
It's not aligned. You think you're supporting a small seller,
Yeah.
and then you find out it's shipping from a warehouse in China and you're going to get it in 5 weeks. It's not, but at that point, what are you going to do? So I
Right.
think that,
And then your shirt doesn't fit. It's more
Yeah.
like the large you ordered is more like a schmedium.
and it costs
You're like,
$47 to return
Wait,
it.
the
So like,
funniest thing I've seen is someone bought a wreath and it came as a banner of a printed door with
Stop.
a wreath on it. I was like,
Oh, that's
curtain.
sad.
That's the funniest
oh,
thing
wow.
I've seen.
I bought a stained glass thing once with a beehive from Etsy, and it literally came from China, and it was plastic. And it had some weird stained glass printing on a piece of plexiglass.
Mm.
And I was mad. And I'm telling you, I went back and forth for the seller for 4 or 5 emails because they want you to resolve it first. I was like, this isn't what you said it was.
Yeah.
This isn't what you said it was.
Yeah.
And it was all these excuses. And finally, I was like, escalate to Etsy. And they refunded me because it wasn't what you said it was.
Yeah.
If I knew I was buying a plastic thing that looked like stained glass and I received a plastic thing that looked like stained glass, I would have been fine.
Yeah, right.
But just don't lie to me. That was my mantra at my old job. It was my teammate Carrie and I, we shared an office, and probably in the first week something went down and I was like, Carrie, never lie to me. Just don't lie. I don't care what is happening. I don't care what the answer is, what the outcome is. Just don't lie. And if you don't lie to me, we'll be fine.
That's
She never
simple.
lied to me.
That's a simple rule to live by. I like it.
Yeah.
But you can deal with anything as a team and with the right people in your corner. Like you could, come on, we all can deal with anything. This is not like life or death stuff. But how do you fix it and move on if you don't know the truth? So if you're not standing on steady ground together, why are you even trying to fix it? Just don't lie.
Yeah.
Just don't lie.
Yeah.
That's the Taurus in me. Don't lie.
All right, I have another kind of a weird, I guess, a long question, so bear with me. I caution that the trend is to say to everybody, start your own business.
Oh, yeah.
I genuinely believe there are people that should not. But there are definitely people who just need somebody like Maria did with you. Some others, too, did that with you. To almost like a miner looking for a piece of gold, just a nugget. And then they help clear away that, and all of a sudden they let you shine, right? So I go there. What is it? Like, what would you say to someone who's on the fence? I think I want to do something like this. What kind of attributes do they need to have? Because one of the things I talked about, I don't remember if it was here or just a separate conversation, but somebody was talking about they want to start a business, and the bank or somebody wanted to do a pro forma, some business plan. They were asking me, and I think I was just like, I hate business plans because I just feel like I'd rather spend my time on other things. Also, past the business plan, we do other kinds of stuff. But part of that business plan is to make you sit down and do the ugly crap.
Yes.
Because you will have to do that. And if you're already going, oh, I don't really want to put that work into it, stop right there and go back to your job and work and find some way else to do with your spare time or your side hustle.
That is exactly what I would say. If you are prepared and ready to do the work, then you will be fine. I think if you have an expectation of, I want to have this side hustle, but you expect it to be this business, your expectations are out of alignment. So you can't give something 15% of your time from 8 to 10 at night and expect it to replace your full-time income. That's just unrealistic. And I think a lot of people, I think it's a good place to start, but I think people sometimes in that situation get frustrated because they're like, oh, I can't make it work. It's just not going to work. And I would say to that person, and I have said, there is a friend of mine who had a side hustle and he did finally go out and make it his real business. And I can remember saying to him, I'm like not understanding why you're frustrated because you're giving this a very small percentage of your attention and expecting it to financially free you.
Yep.
That's not how this works.
Yeah.
No.
So like I said, if you're ready to go all in, then I think it's fair for you to have all in expectations. Right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
But like, if you can't give it the time and attention, then how do you expect it to feed you back? And that's what I would say. Are you able to do the work? And I would say, do you get it? Do you want it? Do you have the capacity? And that's something that I learned at my old job too. Do you know what you want to do? Do you really want it bad enough? And when I say capacity, I don't mean mental capacity, time capacity, resource capacity. Is it really possible? If I was living by myself without the stability of my husband and his steady job and his non-desire to ever leave that steady job and carry the insurance for me, I don't know if I would have had the resources and the guts to do it. Maybe I would have because I drink a lot of coffee, but it's a very different kind of space when you have different motivation. Another good friend of mine, I met her in a business entrepreneur program. She started her business because she was divorced with 4 kids and she couldn't fail. So I think there's different motivations. For me, I felt safe that if I did fail, I was going to be okay. Whereas another colleague of mine who built an equally successful business did not have an option. She had no safety net. So that was her motivation to not fail. Yeah. So I think it's different, but I think the common theme though is you got to do the work.
It's hard. And there has to be that deep driver. Yeah. When things get hard, something's still got to get you out of bed in the morning. If you're the kind of person that can push through that.
Yeah. And I know a lot of really intelligent, high-performing men and women specifically who will say, I never want to start a business.
Yeah.
How many people have you said, oh my God, you're so good at X, you should do your own thing? And they're like, 100%.
Nope, no thanks.
That's a hard no.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all the time.
You're like shutting your computer down at 5. And
Bob and I joke all the time. We're like, my Bob and I, we grew up with that hustle mentality. And if you got time to lean, you got time to clean. Who wants to have any downtime, right? But we joke all the time. Maybe we were the dummies just working really hard and expecting all these things to happen. But then we think, but we wouldn't be here if we didn't work hard. We know how to work hard.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I told him to take that day off in May, it was because he came through for me and worked extra in a week, unexpected, that he didn't have to do that. He could have said no. He could have been like, I'm really busy. Or you didn't plan this properly and you deal with it. He very well could have said that to me. And I wouldn't have been mad.
Bob was a business owner.
That's, I
Bob
think, the part.
had a partnership.
That's the part that I think he is, I don't want to live this anymore.
He didn't want it anymore. He did give it a try.
I tried to convince him to 1099 with me. He didn't want to. He was like, I just want to be an employee.
Yeah.
So as your wealth builds, so does the amount of pressure that surrounds you, right? Maybe your income is still higher than ever and your business has more revenue than ever, but you're also thinking about your family, your employees and their families, debts that you need to pay off, taxes that you want to minimize, cash flows to track, all while trying to stay excellent at your job and innovative within your industry. Our team at Stonehouse helps you manage your personal wealth, whether it's in your retirement plan, your business, or any other place. While you're busy out there conquering the world and trying to take care of others, don't forget about taking care of yourself. Contact Stonehouse to see how we can help make your life better. Next question I was going to ask you was scaling up.
Oh,
Are you comfortable where you are? Just right? Or you still got more to go?
that's such a hard question, Bob, because
Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't the easy podcast.
oh my God. No, you're not the one that's going to be like, just this is fine.
Maybe you don't know the answer. That's fine.
Well, I will say, I never wanted to have an employee because I was afraid, and I never built this business to make a bunch of money and do a bunch of cool stuff. I never really did. I really built this business as an escape hatch from where I was. So it really wasn't this thing that I always wanted to have a business. Growth-wise, I feel like we're right where we want to be. And the reason I say that is because I think that if we did need to grow or scale really fast, I can turn to partners like Maria and Lariah and Kelsey and other people who, if I really needed help in a pinch, they could help me scale up fast and scale back down fast. Now, would that be a very profitable scale up or scale down? Not really, because you're paying a consultant rate, right? You're not really marking up a consultant, 5-10%. You're not making money on that, but you're serving your clients and you're getting the work done. So then there's the other side of it is, like, am I serving people appropriately if I'm afraid to tell them what I really think they need, right? Because if I'm not suggesting other things because I don't have the capacity to do them, I'm not really serving them as best as I should. So we've done that before, like been underwater, and I'm like, can I have Mariah for 20 hours this month? And same thing.
Same.
We've helped each other. I did a bunch of copywriting for Maria years back, and she was like, we could do it, but we just don't have time right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that the growth thing is, I think I'm right where I want to be right now. I'm happy. I work with good people. I do feel scared sometimes because I've heard that if you're not growing, you're dying. And I'm like not interested in dying. So I'm trying to figure it out. But I think I'm just happy, which also is a little bit foreign. Like, you think, like, how can you just be happy?
Right. What is your definition of success?
Yeah. And it is. To me, it's being able to volunteer in the classroom and do a junior achievement lesson. It's being able to go on a field trip. It's like last week 2 weeks ago when they sent the field day forms, and my daughter I was like, I don't want to do field day, guys. I've done enough this year. And my daughter was like, will you please do field day? And she still likes me now because she's 6. And I was like, yeah, I'll do field day. I just keep saying yes. But I think it's time now. I'm over that 40-ish kind of space in my life. And I can see my kids becoming more independent. I can see that they don't want to be with me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it sunsetting. Not like they're going to disappear or anything, but I feel calm and happy that I can be around for them when they need me to be around, and that I can do my own thing when they want to ignore me.
Yeah.
And you probably feel that too with your family. I
feel like it's changing daily.
Yes.
Right
Just
now.
when you think you figured it out,
Yes.
it's not right anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. It's a lot.
But we're doing it.
Yeah.
Do you have
Used to-
kids?
My son graduated from Penn State just Saturday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my daughter's a year behind him at Penn State. So, yeah, I feel like get used to it. You've got at least
Yeah,
a
we have
decade
a
or more
while.
of
We have a
this
while.
stuff. Yeah.
But still,
Just embrace it.
to go back to that finance portion of this chat, I read that book a lot. Chris Hetro actually bought it for me. It was called Smart Women Finish Rich. That's when I knew he really liked me.
Aw.
I didn't know if he liked me for the first 6 months we dated, but then he bought me a book and I figured he did. But that one thing that it said in that book was like women typically make less money than men. So you're at a financial disadvantage just from the jump. And that's just math. That's not being political. That's just math. But I remember when I first started my first job, I was working part-time at Benco Dental. And they let part-time people have a 401k. And they matched it, which was cool. At the time, that was like
Free money.
1999 or something like that was. And I was in college and I was just working part-time in the graphic design department. And they let you. And my father said to me, he said, put 8%. He goes, I know you're not making any money, but he said, put 8% in your 401k and get it started. And if you do that, you'll never miss it. So I always, right from when I was 19 years old, I always had a 401k. And every job that I ever went to, I'd always do obviously the maximum match, but I would always do between 8 and 12%. Because I never missed the money.
100%.
I never had it.
People's budgets are like fish bowls. The bigger the bowl, the bigger your budget will grow, or the fish will grow, whatever. And I've had people that would say that they'll never need more than $50,000 a year, blah, 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 blah. And now they're making 4 or 5 times that, and they don't feel like they have enough. It's just because their budget got bigger. And
Yeah.
nobody, and that's the hardest part about going on your own, nobody wants to go backwards in any given year. It's okay.
Yep.
You can deal with, I didn't get a raise or anything, or
Yeah.
make it roughly the same, or inflation erodes it a little bit. But if you go from 80,000 to 75, it's mentally just defeating. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I think if you look at, what is it, like lifestyle creep? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Like you make more
that's
money and
what
you
it
do
is.
more things. You will laugh. I am very happy in my life, very financially secure and safe. I'm driving around happy as can be in my 2017 RAV4, and I will drive that pig until the wheels fall off. Because it's not something I value. I don't
Right.
care.
Right. I'm the same way.
Of the things in my life, I don't care about a car. And I think if you can identify the things that you really care about and leave the rest, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to I will probably end up inheriting Chris's car and he'll get a new car just like we always do because I really don't care what I get. And I know because he's been so meticulous at maintaining it, it'll be an excellent car. But I think that one of the things that we've done together is just identifying what's really important. And he has always wanted to build a house and we're building a house now. And I think that's really important to him. But we've been able to do it because we've left so much on the table, right? We don't go on 5 vacations a year. We don't do a lot of things that people think you do need to do to be successful. I don't drive around the nicest car in the carpool line by far, but a lot of people do. But to me, I don't care. And I think when you get older and you cross that threshold where when you can say things like, I don't care, it really legitimately means I don't care. It's not like you're saying, I don't care, but you really do.
Yeah.
You just don't care about that at face value. Don't care.
Yeah.
So I think that has been a good thing that we have done through the years as he has gotten raises, as I had a house that I bought once in Kingston. I sold that. That was a big windfall. We've just had these chunks of money and we've never really scaled up.
You're like a financial planner's dream.
Yeah.
Our financial planner is like my husband's best friend. So he knows all the things. But one of the things he always says, which we always struggle with, he's like, what are you saving for? What are you doing? And I don't want to answer it because I don't know.
That's okay. I myself am that way.
Really?
People talk about me eventually retiring. I absolutely love what I do. I do that. I love it unapologetically. I've worked my tail off to get here. And
Yeah.
I had a conversation earlier today with somebody that wants to get in this line of business. And I feel I use the Shawshank Redemption quote, crawl through a river, you know what, to get where I am.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when somebody wants to talk about getting into this business, I almost usually try to talk them out of it. And the reason I do that is because I'm sure a lot of businesses, but I know my business, there's many times where it just knocks you down and you feel like I did everything right. And then the market just went bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes you very seldom do we get credit for good returns, but we get all the blame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But with that said, it's still a great career, but you need to be prepared for all those knockdowns because if you don't have that get back up mentality, there's got to be a million other things you could do.
Yeah.
But now I love it. And so I'm in that thing. And I don't, like, I'll work as long as I can work. And that's years and years for me. And my wife's like, you're never going to retire. I was like, I hope not.
Yeah.
That's
I
become my
know.
lifestyle. And to your point, I've been able to manage it now where I can enjoy life. And yeah, I'll take a call on vacation, no
Yep.
doubt. I'll return some stuff. Because when my family goes to bed, I'm usually just by myself. Throw the laptop on,
Yeah.
get some work
You're in
done.
a way different phase of life than we are. But you, like you said, you've waded through the...
age shame me there.
No, you're in a different stage of life.
No, that's great.
No, she
100%
did,
though,
but not age. Just
No, just a
stage.
stage.
Yeah.
Different stage of life.
I'm going to throw
You're
this.
free.
I'm going to throw
I
this out there
know.
too. Just throw this for you to think about.
Okay.
And I don't throw it away on your drive home if you want. But you have built a great reputation up as an individual and as the owner of a great business. You
Thank
have
you.
a great person working alongside of you. No real interest in scaling. But to be very blunt, if I could go Dave Ramsey here, right? That business,
Please do. I
that
love him.
business dies with you.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I guess if I were you, I'd be looking at whenever since you don't have a specific time frame, I would say, like, how could I take and contain that and maintain that and continue to grow by bringing a person or a couple people around me that I can simply hand off to. And that way, since you don't have anything pulling you into retirement, you could still dial it up or down at your own discretion, knowing that there's people there. And that's so hard to find those people.
You're right, though. We've thought
But you
about
have some
this.
time about it.
No, I
Preaching
did.
choir here.
No, like 2 summers ago, I completed the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Entrepreneur Program in
Okay.
Philadelphia. And one of the things they talked about was succession planning. And I opened up my binder and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, here we go. And it was a lot of that stuff. And especially when you think about building a business and something that other people depend on, right? This is Bob's job. It's his job. So if I just decide tomorrow, like, I don't feel like it anymore, it's a big reverberation for another human being who I really deeply care about. So I think that you are right. I think I am in the process of trying to wrap my head around growth doesn't necessarily mean that Jenny Hetro has to work harder, work more. And if I can organize myself in a way to do that, which I need to, no time like the present to plan. So I think you are absolutely onto something. I feel like you're peeling back a layer that does need to, it's an itch that needs to be scratched for sure.
That's a good way to put it. And it's also, I would say it's really important in your example that Bob be part of that. And I think a lot of business owners try to get everything in place and then just mass announce it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a small company, it might not be what they expected or what they were hoping for. And maybe it could have been somebody internally to do that succession, or there's a million different ways it could go. But I think you need to go at it from I think the communication, it shouldn't be secretive.
Yeah.
So I heard an interesting statement. It was, if you're thinking, you're kidding yourself if you're thinking that you're going to find your succession plan and then announce it. People will be surprised because the people are already going, what's the old guy going to do? Yeah. And I say, I'm 53. So
no, but Bob has said to me, I think it's cool when you surround yourself with people who can also see your blind spots. And he has said things to me in the past on certain projects, or I think I need to do this one thing by myself. He'll straight up say, I want to help you with this. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, you want to help me with this. And it takes me a minute to process it. I don't have to do all this hard stuff alone, even though my name is on the door, as they say. When you surround yourself with people who see where you're struggling and want to hand you a life raft, he knows that. And I think that you're right. He has said things before about, I'll help you with this. So planning something like that would be totally feasible with a teammate like Bob, because he understands it. And Chris and my husband talks about it a lot too. He's like, plan is a good thing. I'm like, oh, I know.
Chris should have been a financial planner.
Oh, no. He needs to be an engineer and fix the world. He just presented at Wilkes University last Sunday about renewable energy.
Oh,
and it was so cute because he's like, will you look at my PowerPoint for formatting? And I was like, if I didn't love you, I would want to punch you in the face for asking me this on a Sunday morning.
That's exactly what he was doing, yeah.
But he did a great presentation. And he's introvert of all introverts, but he can talk to people. So I think that's why he stands out as an engineer because a lot of engineers struggle with that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Super smart, very detail oriented, but really can't resolve a conflict or talk to somebody on the phone, let alone a video call. So he's a unicorn in his own right. And
You've trained him well.
he lives his life with me. So
You're
he's
an
just
extrovert of all extroverts. Yeah.
It's funny, like you think about when you asked me to come on this podcast, I was thinking about all the things, right? Oh my God, the past 24 hours I've been thinking about all these things. And my dad loved people. My mom used to make fun of him all the time. She'd be like, I can't take you anywhere. You'd always be talking to somebody or running into somebody or helping somebody. And one of the things that I always think about when I think about my dad is when I was a little girl, he always would say, you need to respect everybody. No matter what their uniform they're wearing, no matter their job, you always will respect other people. And my dad was the default parent. So my mom worked full-time, my dad worked part-time, and he worked nights so he could watch us. And he would walk us to the bus stop every day and get us on the bus. And he would always give us, my brother and me, he would give us a Hershey kiss. And every day we would give the bus driver a Hershey kiss. And it was this thing that I always think about decades later, that my dad was just trying to show us, just be kind to the bus driver and the janitor and all the people that in school people might make fun of or have nasty things to say about. He was trying to make sure that my brother and I knew our place about just be kind. This person is getting you to and from school safely every day. Just be kind.
Yep.
And every day we get on the bus and we give them a Hershey kiss. I don't even know if they like chocolate or not. I don't know if they ever threw them away or ate them. I have no idea, but that's what we did. I always think about that. He was just he loved people.
My dad was the exact same. Give anybody Hershey kisses, though.
Well, I know.
But he talked all the time about
My dad would always say, no matter who comes into the restaurant, whether it's the president of the United States or somebody from town, treat them all the same. Every single person the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a good job, though. I will say my kids learn a lot in school. They come home with papers all the time, many papers. But they talk a lot about respect and empathy and kindness. And they talk about be a bucket filler. If you could fill somebody's bucket, don't be a bucket emptier. So I do feel hopeful that the next generation will be more aware of that. And I know even your kids are in college. I'm sure that they were in that generation where people were starting to say, we got to stop the nonsense with the bullying and the meanness and the snippiness.
Yeah.
I think there is a shift that has happened. And I see it in some adults. Some adults I still see that I swear are feral. And they're just still running around.
My kids are huge bullies. No, I'm just kidding. We just hired somebody and knew after the first conversation I really wanted this person on our Stonehouse team. Mm-hmm. And we went out for a lunch. And the thing that stood out to me more than any of the stuff about his past experience, really, he thanked the waitress for every single thing she brought to the table. And that stands out to me, and thanked me for lunch as we walked back out. That stands out. That doesn't happen much
But
anymore.
Isn't that wild? That is what stands out because it's so uncommon.
Yes,
that is.
It is. It's the world we live in.
But you can only control yourself. And that's what I gentle parent myself all the time. I say, okay, Jen, you can only control yourself. All the things that I've been trying to tell them, I think that's helped me grow a lot, I will say. I am much kinder to myself than I have ever been. Because I hear the words, and you could probably speak to that. Like I say the words to my daughter that I wish somebody would have said to me. And I phrase things differently to her. And it's important because it sticks with you. And all the things that you've taught me about, like the way your brain retains information and the stories and the narratives you build about yourself and the world, like, man, we get to choose. And
we get to choose.
You get to choose. And if you surround yourself, though, with other people, even my husband, I know I joke that he's boring and regular and predictable, but when I tell you, I watch him with our kids and I hear the things he says and I watch how he treats me and I think, man, you're doing it right. It's been really cool to be around other people in my life who are bucket fillers.
Yeah. Builds people up.
It does.
I have to compliments to you, Jenny, because I literally the moment that you walked down the stairs, I was like, all right, the only question I really want to ask you, is it coffee or is it supplements you're doing to get the energy and the happiness? Because we know this, I think when you interview somebody, you match the energy. And we talk about that all the time. And like right now, I feel like I want to go to the gym. I'm
nice because I'm not going. You can go me today. I'm not doing that.
I love seeing success. I love seeing, we just talked about American Idol and stuff like that. When you see someone just go out and give you the worst story and then they go and that's the best moment in their life, that's pretty cool to watch.
It is.
Yeah. I feel like you're having some best moments.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm
glad you're sharing that.
I'm very happy, and my really good friend used to say, "You're not lucky. You're just very strategic, and you're always open to opportunity." And she used to say, in relationships and in life, if you're green light, you got red lights and green lights. And I don't know if this is true, but this is what she used to say. I feel like in our world, in our brain, we have red lights and green lights. And if your red light is on, you're not really looking for a new job. You're not really looking for a new relationship. You're not really looking for anything different. You're not that you're not open to it, but you're closed off. You're just not looking for those things. But if your green light is on, which could be good or bad, right? So if you're in a relationship and your green light is on for a new relationship, probably not going to end well. But you will find those things, and you will find the reasons to do the things that you want to do, right? If you are unhappy in your relationship, you'll look for the things that they're doing wrong because you're over it and you've already decided because your green light's in somewhere else. So even with the job, when you're like, you know what, this isn't serving me anymore, it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of this sucks.
I hate my
everything
life.
sucks.
And then everything spirals.
Yeah, and you will see everything that's terrible. And that's just a thing that we do. It's not like I do it, you do it, it's just a thing.
It's a brain thing.
It's a brain thing. So I think that in my life, I feel like my green light is always on because there's always something to learn from somebody. Always.
And that's a choice for you to keep that green light on.
Yeah.
You chose that.
But people want to tell me cool stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about my job or an industry or some sort of really niche-y thing. I am the queen of an internet rabbit hole. I love them. I love research projects. I love copywriting on complex things that most people say, like, oh my God, that makes my brain bleed to think about that. I love that.
No, she's so good at it.
I just want to ask questions and be surrounded by smart people who want to tell me the answers.
Yeah.
Every cool project that I've ever copywritten for, it's not me writing this stuff. It's cool people who are super smart telling me all the super smart things in a safe space, and I get to jumble it together and spit it back out on paper.
Tell the story. She's so good at it. And complex, hard to describe things. She has
stuff.
a way of making it sound simple and amazing. But like a traffic, that's why you have so many bucket fillers around you, because you are a bucket filler. I've never met anyone who has drugged me around a room like Jenny Hetro. You have to meet this person. You have to meet this person. And then she has the nicest things to say about you. She's an uplifter, a supporter to the nth degree every single time. Never misses. Yeah, you're an exceptional human.
No, she's going to make me cry.
I love you so much.
I love you too. And we always say, I will say, one thing that I always say in my life, I always tell my friends I love them, and some people think it's weird. But every time we talk at the phone, love you, bye. Every time.
Every time.
I got a lot more persistent after I almost died, so I felt like I need to remind people all the time. But I think it's really nice to be in that space where you can be around people who want to see you succeed and truly understand that just because you succeed doesn't mean that I didn't. It's not pie. Is that what they say? It's not pie. There's not. There's enough.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me.
Thanks for
It's a magnetic thing. It's an infectious thing that you have. And I appreciate it. And I'm so glad you came up on here. And now you can add this podcast to your list of accolades of all these amazing things you've done.
Yeah. That's a wrap on today's episode of Beyond the Bottom Line. Thank you for listening. If this conversation sparked something for you, please let us know. Follow, share, or leave a review. It helps us keep having the conversations we love that you love to listen to. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more real talk from real leaders. Until then, here's to feeling successful beyond the bottom line.